Hello and welcome to a genteel black hole, the home of my bookish rambles. My name's Ali, I think. Therefore I am. This is a book I picked up recently, The Best of Roger Zelazny. It's a collection of short stories and novellas, all in the kind of sci-fi genre, although quite varied within that general category. Anyway, I had been meaning to try Roger Zelazny for a while, and last month I read another short story collection, The Wind's 12 Quarters by Ursula K. Le Guin. And in the introduction to one of her stories, she mentions Zelazny as a particular influence and someone she admired. And given how much I admire Le Guin, I thought it was particularly worth finally getting around to checking out Zelazny. I haven't actually finished every story in this book yet, and normally that would prevent me from making a video about it, but I don't actually want to talk about the whole book just yet. What I want to talk about is one particular story that made a real impression on me. That story is For a Breath I Tarry. Fascinating fact, by the way. Both The Wind's 12 Quarters and For a Breath I Tarry take their titles from quotes from the same poem, A Shropshire Lad by A.E. Housman. For a Breath I Tarry is set in a post-apocalyptic world which is populated and maintained by computers. They keep running despite the absence of anyone to run for. They were left running by mankind before they became extinct, and so on they run. Now, the central character of the story is a supercomputer called Frost. He is based in the Arctic, and he maintains the northern hemisphere of Earth. And aside from doing that, he also has a hobby. He was never ordered not to have a hobby, so he has one. And that hobby is the study of mankind, the extinct species that created Frost's kind. So over the centuries, Frost becomes a sort of archaeologist. He researches mankind and tries to piece together what they were like based on the things that he finds. And over the centuries, he develops a sort of ambition to become human himself. Eventually, Frost makes a wager with another computer called Mordell, and Mordell has read more of the surviving human library than Frost has, and therefore better understands what humans were and what it means to be human. Mordell insists that Frost basically couldn't possibly become human. It's just impossible for a machine, for a computer, to be human. And this is the reasoning that he gives. I told you that man possessed a basically incomprehensible nature. His perceptions were organic. Yours are not. As a result of his perceptions, he had feelings and emotions. These often gave rise to other feelings and emotions, which in turn caused others, until the state of his awareness was far removed from the objects which originally stimulated it. These paths of awareness cannot be known by that which is not man. Man did not feel inches or meters, pounds or gallons. He felt heat, he felt cold, he felt heaviness and lightness. He knew hatred and love, pride and despair. You cannot measure these things. You cannot know them. You can only know the things that he did not need to know. Dimensions, weights, temperatures, gravities. There is no formula for a feeling. There is no conversion factor for an emotion. There's one scene in this story where Frost tries to create his own art. That scene feels especially relevant towards modern discourse about AI generative art, which, considering the story was written in 1966, is it's quite interesting. But yeah, Frost tries to create his own art, and he's able to create these sculptures. They're perfect scale replicas of things that he can see, that he can measure. But as Mordell points out, it's not art, because art is an expression of human feeling and emotion. Art is created with some kind of perspective and intention. And what Frost creates, therefore, by definition, by his lack of humanity, cannot be art. This basically reflects, better than anything I've read, how I feel about AI generative art. However impressive the images may be, ultimately they are completely hollow and they're not art. Spoilers incoming, so if you don't want to know the very ending of the story, look away now. In the end, Frost does achieve his ambition, but only by transferring his consciousness into a human host, a sort of lab-grown body. It's only by doing this that Frost first experiences human emotions, such as fear and despair. It is by being in a body and experiencing the world not through measurements and logic, but through sensations, that he's finally able to become human. I thought it was a fascinating story, and one which I found really life-affirming, I suppose. I've been really struggling this year with my mental health. I've had a lot of anxiety. I've been quite depressed. My mood has been quite low, and for a lot of the time, things have just felt kind of grey and dull and colourless. So reading this story actually kind of felt like a light at the end of the tunnel. For the first time in months, I felt a true excitement while reading a story. I felt a kind of electricity running through me. I know that sounds kind of robotic, but I mean it as a metaphor. Yeah, I thought it was very apt that for a story all about what it means to be human, that was the thing that kind of broke the ice, as it were, and reminded me what it means to be human and what it means to be alive to the world. So for that, I am massively grateful to Roger Zelazny. And between Zelazny and Le Guin, I'm just really grateful to have found some sci-fi that I can really connect with and get excited about again, because sci-fi has always been kind of one of my go-to genres, but the last couple of years I've just had really bad luck with picking sci-fi books to read. I've had a lot of sci-fi DNFs and disappointments, so to finally be kind of getting back to a place where sci-fi is exciting me again the way it used to is a wonderful thing. Anyway, that's about it from me today. Maybe let me know in the comments if you've read this story and did you love it as much as I did. Have you read any other Roger Zelazny, or are there any other sci-fi writers, maybe especially short story writers or collections, that you would recommend for me? Whatever it is you'd like to share, I'm always happy to hear from you. Anyway, that is about it from me today. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I will see you when I see you.